How much is an emerald worth in Hypixel Bedwars? That's the question that I'm going to be answering in this video, or at least trying to. First though, what is Bed Wars? Maybe a better question is why you are watching this video if you don't already know that, but either way, Bed Wars is a Minecraft minigame in which you start on a base and collect 4 different types of resources that are used to break other teams' beds and eliminate them from the game. There are countless strategies designed to increase your chances of winning the game, but one thing they all have in common is that they use a combination of the 4 resources to do so. The most common 2 resources are iron and gold. These spawn on each base, which means everyone has easy access to them as soon as the game starts. These are used for all of the items that are common in the game, such as blocks for building, better swords, and various utility items. Next are diamonds, which are a little more rare, but are evenly spaced around the map so that every team has reasonable access to them if they leave their base. These are used for team upgrades such as more protection, sharpness, traps, and most importantly, dragon buff. Lastly, you have emeralds, which are the rarest and most powerful resource in the game. Emeralds are only available in the very middle of the map, which makes it fairly hard to get them, but the items they can buy are OP. Emeralds can buy diamond armor, potions, obsidian blocks, and more. These items drastically increase your chance to win and are honestly broken at times. That's the end of me explaining how Bed Wars works. Now to the question that this entire video is about. How much is an emerald worth in Hypixel Bedwars? My first thought of how to make this determination was to use the time it takes to punch the different blocks as the baseline for valuing emeralds. Since there are blocks that are purchased with iron, gold, and emeralds, I should be able to use the time it takes to break them by hand to determine each of their relative values. So, I timed myself punching wool, endstone, and obsidian by hand. No, unfortunately I'm not kidding. What I found was that wool takes 1.25 seconds, endstone takes 15 seconds, and obby takes a whopping 250 seconds to break using only your fist. I also found out that you can easily find all these numbers with a Google search after timing them myself, which only hurts a little. Now it's time for some math. Endstone costs 24 iron for 12 blocks, which is 2 iron per block, and it takes 15 seconds to break. That comes out to 7.5 seconds of punching for 1 iron. Obby costs 4 emeralds for 4 blocks, which is 1 emerald per block, and takes 250 seconds to break, meaning 250 seconds of punching per M. 250 divided by 7.5 is 33.33 repeating, so that would suggest that 1 emerald is worth a little more than 33 iron, right? Wrong. Earlier I said it takes 1.25 seconds to punch wool by hand. If you do the same math that I did for the endstone, that would suggest an emerald is worth 50 iron. That is over 16 more iron than endstone would suggest, which means this method for valuing emeralds stinks. Back to the drawing board. The second method for valuing an emerald that I came up with was to determine how many iron ingots, gold ingots, and diamonds are generated in the time it takes for the first 8 emeralds to spawn into the game. This would show the ratio of each resource over the same amount of time, which was probably a much better way to calculate relative worth. So I jumped into some private games and did some counting. Now, this calculation is only for fast iron maps, which are the most common, and only for solo games. I figured that this is the purest way to value the various resources as the team modes allow for splitting of iron and gold gens. All of that said, here's the math. The 8th emerald spawns in exactly 95 seconds into the game. During that time, the base gens spawn in a max of 125 iron and 10 gold each, for the total of 1000 iron and 80 gold across the 8 bases. In the same amount of time, the diamond gens spawn 4 diamonds per gen for a total of 16. This obviously assumes that every player keeps their generator producing for the entire first 95 seconds. So now we can determine how much iron, gold, and diamond 1 emerald is worth using some basic division. 1000 divided by 8 comes out to 125. That means 1 emerald is worth 125 iron. Using that same process, you get 1 emerald equaling 10 gold and 2 diamonds. That's what this valuation method suggests, but does it make sense? And if so, what does it mean? First off, there is an inherent problem with this method, though I don't think it makes it incorrect. As a Bed Wars game gets longer, diamonds and emeralds begin to spawn more quickly. This is like built-in inflation and is designed to make the game end more quickly. It means just like real life, The rich just get richer. Also, you can use diamonds to upgrade your generator to spawn more iron and gold. You can even get it to spawn emeralds if you upgrade it enough, though it doesn't really ever make sense. All of that said, I still think using the base spawn rates as the measuring stick is the best way to get a real value for emeralds. Well, at least the best that I could come up with. So, assuming these calculations make sense, what does this mean about the economics of Bed Wars? If 1 emerald is equal to 125 iron, that would mean that 1 emerald could buy you 3 fireballs, 1 iron golem, or roughly 500 wool blocks. If 1 emerald equals 10 gold, you could get 3 gapples for an M, or a power bow for 2 M's. That would suggest that Hypixel prices the punch enchantment on the punch bow at 4 emeralds for just the enchantment alone, which is kind of crazy. Personally, I think that all of these could make sense in the game. Another cool calculation is how many gold ingots diamond armor is equal to. The iron armor upgrade costs 12 gold, and the diamond armor upgrade costs 6 M's. At 10 gold per emerald, that would mean that the diamond armor would be equal to 60 gold, or 48 more gold than the iron upgrade costs. Does that make sense? I don't know, but it's fun to think about. So 1 emerald equals 125 iron. There's your answer. Well, it kind of does, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. If you want me to take a deeper dive into the economics of Bed Wars, drop a comment letting me know, and subscribe. Please?